Hello, AOS fans.
Hello, AOS fans, or should we say...
Agents of Shadespire fans.
Agents of Shadespire, yes. I forgot what the game's called then. Shadespire, Warhammer Underworlds.
Warhammer Underworlds Shadespire.
Yeah.
Which makes me already interested to see what they're going to be releasing next.
In the
Underworlds, something else. It'll be another city.
Many boards and cards.
It's going to be cool.
And sets.
There'll be all weird shaped boards and all kinds of stuff.
I really like the models. I really like the... It's much easier to play. I've enjoyed our games.
Very quick.
And I'm enjoying it's even painting your army is fairly simple. I've done 1/3 of my army.
Yeah.
And that's really nice. So I think
I like the fact that they're adding in war scrolls for these guys into the AOS game.
Yeah, that's good. And I actually would like to play. It might lead me back to AOS to play skirmish games.
Yeah.
Quite interesting, I think.
But we're here today to talk about the expansion cards for the Shadespire initial game. So the best of 3 that we've been playing, the third and final part of that, which will be going up in the next day or two, has been played with just the basic deck, hasn't it?
Yeah, you get 3 decks in your box.
So in the main box, you start off with 3 initial sets of cards. One for the... no, it's 2 sets of cards, isn't it? Well, yeah, it's 3 sets.
One for Khorne, one for Stormcast, and
then
the extras.
Expansion.
And we haven't played with the extras. You haven't seen them, so we're just going to quickly run through them now. See if I don't know whether we offer any tactical things. Since we don't really know any tactics in the game.
But we can at least show you the cards and tell you what they're like.
And I'll probably say whether we think we'd use it or not.
Yeah. I mean, so let's have a look. Yes. So you get 4.
They're actually
before specific
objectives. Before we do that, we've got these are the Stormcast ones here, and these are the neutral ones, and
these are the Khorne
ones over there. So we'll go through the Stormcast and the Khorne, and then we'll look at the neutral ones.
So, looking at the Khorne specific ones and the Stormcast specific ones, the first card I've got is Let the Blood Flow, which I score immediately if 3 or more of my fighters make a successful attack. Now, immediately I'm thinking, is that attack? Or charges have attacks at the end of them, so that's an attack or a charge, and you get 2 glory if you do that.
If they make an attack, and then even if it doesn't have a successful one, it just has to be an attack.
It says make a successful attack.
Okay, that's a bit
so
trickier.
That's immediately trickier, but you get 2 glory for. I'm not sure about that one, but it's an optional.
I've got Seize Ground as my first one, just worth 1. Score... Do I need to put it there?
No,
Score this in an end phase if you hold an objective in enemy territory. Now, Stormcast aren't very good at that. I don't think I've done that very much, but it's doable, that one.
And you could pony at that pony. You could piggyback that off of another card, which is to capture the objective.
Yeah,
you might get 2.
Yeah.
Oh, the next one I've got is Khorne's Champion. Score this in the 3rd end phase if all fighters except 1 are out of action.
Ooh.
And you get 6.
All your fighters. All fighters.
If all fighters except 1 of mine. So if
you're the last man standing.
Yes, I get 6 points.
Wow, so it's like better than Annihilation.
That is, yes.
So if you had Annihilation and
it's got to be clear. It's got to be close to the mark. You've only got to have 1 guy left.
If you had Annihilation and that would be 11 off the bat.
That would, yes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I will probably never use that. I don't think. Out of the 2, I'd probably have Annihilation over that one.
Yeah, because Annihilation is a little bit easier, isn't it?
Slightly, because you only have to have 1 guy left. And if you've got 2 and you're sitting thinking, I want you to kill 1 now.
Yeah.
It's going to be trickier, but it is 6.
Immovable object. Score this in an end phase if the same friendly fighter has held the same objective at the end of 2 consecutive action phases.
That could be quite good.
It's only worth 1. Don't think I'd ever use it.
You sure? Because if your first turn you run and stand on an objective, at the end of that turn you've got it.
Yeah, you just kill me.
Well, I didn't with Severin the first time round because
It wasn't on the right objective.
Is it the end of 2 end phases or 2 turns?
Score this in an end phase of the same friendly fighters held the same objective at the extra. Yeah. It's 2 whole phases.
Oh, okay. I thought it was 2 activations.
No, actions.
Oh, wow, that's
action
tougher.
Phases, yeah. No, 2 activations. Would be worth having.
That is tougher.
But for 8 activations.
For one glory to stand there for 2 phases.
Yeah, I mean you could come away and come back, but you can't because you can only move once. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want that one.
Next one I have is Draw the Gaze of Khorne. Score this immediately if your warband takes 2 or more enemy fighters out of action in this phase. That's quite hard to do against
Khorne.
Against Stormcast, but against the Skellybobs or Skaven maybe a bit easier, but that's only 1 again.
Consecrated Area, this one's a bit easier, 1 star. 1 glory. Score this in an end phase if there are no enemy fighters adjacent to your fighters. A little bit
tricky.
A little bit easier, but I think I might have done it.
You might do it near the beginning if you just stand back.
Or at the end, you could do it as a bit of a cheeky one at the end if you were able to.
If you've only got one person, you might be able to use the not confusion, the other one.
Yeah, just to get away.
Move one guy.
Yeah.
But all of them have to be away.
Yes.
So that's more first end phase likelihood. My last one
you're less
here.
likely to do it at the end. You've only got one person.
No, I mean the first round.
Yeah, you're not likely to score it then. Because you've got to be all of them.
I see, yeah.
You're more likely to be fighting.
It's trickier, yeah.
But I might use that one.
And my last one is Coward, which is score immediately if an enemy fighter begins a move action adjacent to one of my fighters and ends it adjacent to none of my fighters.
So if they run away.
So if you deliberately move a character away, 1 glory.
Well, you did.
That I'd probably take. Yeah, I've done that more than you have actually. But so that's.
Well, again, with Stormcast, because there's so few characters, moving away is like just tantamount to suicide.
Yeah.
Because they don't move very quick.
Especially
it's like, hang on, I'm going over here.
Clonk, clonk, clonk.
Then you just jump on him. Cleanse. It's worth 3. Score this in an end phase if you hold all of the objectives in enemy territory. Again, I don't think I've ever done that. Whether I might be more inclined to if I had three objective points for it. It's in any end phase, so it's possible.
Okay.
Possible. Should we look at the powers?
So we'll look at the powers. We'll try and won't dwell too much on these ones. So for Khorne, I've got Terrifying Howl, which push each adjacent enemy fighter 1 hex away. That's pretty cool, but that's for casters only.
Okay.
So I can push everyone away from me, which is quite handy to have.
I've got a Heroic Stride for Steelheart only. After an enemy fighter ends of activation within 2 hexes of this fighter, you can push this fighter 1 hex.
Well, that's quite cool.
That is quite useful for us, because though Stormcast need things that move them additionally.
Yeah.
Because they don't move very much.
Yeah. Gives you a bit more mobility.
Yeah.
I've got Grizzly Trophy. When this fighter takes an enemy fighter out of action, gain an additional glory. So that's quite handy. Garrick gets that one, so it's a Garrick only ability, and it's like the Terrifying Howl. It's not a ploy. It's a.
Oh yeah. So should we do the upgrades and then the ploys?
I don't think it makes much difference. We can do.
Right,
and that one's an upgrade for Garrick, but that does mean that stays with him. So every time you take someone out after that, it's an additional glory, which that's quite handy.
Yeah, I've got another upgrade here. Fatal Riposte, a Steelheart again. During an attack action that targets this fighter and fails, roll an attack die. On a roll of a hammer or a critical, this fighter cannot be driven back, and they can make an attack action.
Oh, that's quite good.
It must target the attacker. That is pretty good.
That's nice. That's a nice one.
That is pretty good.
Because that's a 50-50, as we've already discussed, of getting that score.
Yeah, actually, all the advanced ones, both the advanced ones are for Steelheart. I've only got one more.
Oh yeah, I've got another upgrade for Garrick. Ever advancing. When this fighter could be driven back during an attack action, whether or not your opponent chooses to do so, you can instead push them 1 hex. So it stops you pushing me. I get to push you.
Oh, that's quite good.
That's quite funky.
Yeah, I've got
that's Garrick.
Another upgrade, Blessed by Sigmar, or Blessed by Sigmar. +1 wounds.
Oh, just a wound.
Yeah. Always handy for the old.
But you've already got a +1 wound, haven't you? So that's 2 +1 wounds.
+1 wound is quite handy.
That
is. It means you're looking at 2 hits at least to get me, possibly 3 in some cases.
So now I've got a ploy, Rebirth in Blood. Play this after an attack action or ploy that takes your last surviving fighter out of action. Roll a defense dice on a shield or exclamation. Remove all wound tokens from them and place them on a starting hex in my territory. So I could possibly get a guy back.
Wow, nice.
I like that.
Tireless Assault. I've got another ploy. Play this after a friendly fighter's action play this after a friendly fighter's attack action that fails. That fighter can make another attack action that targets the same fighter.
Ooh. I like that.
No, that's pretty good. I wasn't probably listening for this one. Ooh, I see, yes.
Fueled by Slaughter. Reaction. Play this after an attack action or ploy that takes fire out of action. A friendly fighter can make an attack action. Ooh, I like that. Just get a free attack from somebody when you take somebody of mine out.
Oh, yes.
I like that one.
Yeah, you've got some good ones. I've got the first attack action of this next activation gains Cleave, Unstoppable Strike.
That's a bit naff.
Bit pointless for you.
Good against orcs, because the orcs have shields, I think, for their defence. And my last one is Boon of Khorne, which is play this after a friendly fighter attack action that takes an enemy fighter out of action. Remove all wound tokens from 1 friendly fighter. I like that one.
I've got 4 left.
You have 4?
Yeah. Maybe I got some muddled up then. You know, I said I was 3 down.
Oh yes.
Muddled up.
Yes.
Well, I'll read them out. Maybe
yeah.
I'll get out. Valiant attack. Enemy fighters cannot support the target of the first attack action in the next activation. That's quite good.
Oh yeah, no support.
Good, yeah. Undaunted reaction. Play this after an attack action or a ploy that leaves a friendly fighter out of action, leaving one surviving friendly fighter on the battlefield. Remove all wound tokens from the surviving fighter.
Oh, nice.
Play this attack after attack. Yeah, that's right, I got that one. Sigmarite will choose 2 adjacent friendly fighters and put them on guard. I feel like that's
I think that's in the first set.
I think that's a basic one.
Yeah.
And Stormforge tactics. In the next act, I think that's in the basic set as well. In the next activation, you can make the following reaction. After the enemy fighter's attack action that fails, choose up to 2 friendly fighters to push them up one hex each.
Yeah, I think that was in the basic set as well.
I think I've seen that one.
So those are the upgrades and the ploys and the objectives for each of the specific sides. So now we're going on to the generic set, and I'm going to do the objectives, and Robin's going to do, he's going to start the ploys, and then we'll share the last few out because he's got loads. So, of the generic set of objectives, the first one here is Supremacy, which is scoring an end phase if you hold 3 or more objectives. So if you hold 3 of them, you get 3 glory.
What's that? Sorry?
If you hold 3 objectives, you get 3 glory extra.
Wow, okay. I've got total offence. Basically, you just get to be really rude to somebody. You can roll 2 additional attack dice when this fighter takes an attack action, though not when this fighter takes a charge action. If this is an upgrade, if you do so, this fighter cannot be activated again in this phase.
Ooh.
2 extra attack dice. That's
Nice.
pretty brutal.
There
were 2 of those.
Yeah, as it turns out, you get 2 supremacies as well.
Okay.
The next one is Denial, which is scoring the 3rd end phase if there are no enemy fighters in my territory. You get 3 objectives for that, and again, I'm not sure the chances of that one, but you never know. For 3, it's more likely than some of the others, I think.
Disengage. As a reaction, after this attack action, if it is successful, you can push this fighter 1 hex. So it's an extra, it's an upgrade. It's a fight upgrade. So it sort of does a slightly weaker attack. It's just 2 hammers, 1 damage, but then you can push the fighter that one.
Now you say that's slightly weaker, but I could get something like Disengage on Arnulf or Targor. They only do 1 damage anyway, and they attack with swords, so that's actually
for me. So yes, obviously not Stormcast specific.
For you, that's not so good.
No,
but for me, that would be great for Arnulf or Targor.
Yeah.
That'd be tops. And the last objective I've got here. Are there 2 disengages?
There are 2.
Okay, and then the final objective is Conquest, which is scoring the 3rd end phase if all of my survivors are in my opponent's territory, and you get 2 objective points for that one. 2 glory points for that one, and that's easier to do.
I've got Shardfall, which is a ploy.
Oh,
Ploys now. Place a shard, there's 2 of these. Place a Shardfall token in an unoccupied hex. That hex is blocked until the end of the phase.
Oh, cool.
Could be useful.
You get some shard tokens.
Yeah.
You get those tokens. That could be quite handy to block off somebody's attack
I've done
route.
that in this game, but again, I don't know how useful it would actually be. Quite a specific set of circumstances where it's actually useful.
Possibly. But then
you could put it above an objective.
Yeah, stop people getting there. That'd be quite funky.
But you'd have to know what your opponent had, so that might be trickier to tell. Double the move characteristic of the first friendly fighter to make a move action in the next activation.
Wow, double it.
Yeah. Wow, sprint. That is sprint.
So my guys move 4 normally.
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4.
They may
5,
not
6,
make a
7,
charge
8.
action. Once they have moved, they cannot be activated against his face.
But that would have possibly that could have saved.
Yeah.
A few people.
It's interesting. They all seem much more useful for you than they do for me. Maybe that's just the way I look at life.
Everybody else's stuff all seems so much better than mine.
Is that everything?
That is all the cards. So, nice quick one for you there, guys. We just want to have a quick run through and let you know what the other cards available are in the box. So our next best of 3, after you've watched the finale of our current best of 3, will feature some of the new cards in.
I think so. Try and build up some strategy.
Attempt to try and work out some strategy. I'm still not sure what to do with my guys, if I'm honest. I have the burning desire every time to charge in an attack, but every time I do that, my guys get swatted back by you. So I think I need to wait for you to come to me, but then at the same time, you want me. You're going to want to sit back and wait for me to come to you. So I honestly don't know how to handle
I don't know. The thing with Stormcast is moving forward is really risky because you put 1 out there.
Yeah.
And then because you've got more men, You put one out there, and then you can just surround it.
But then your hope is, because you have 4 wounds, I can't one-shot any of your guys unless I get some ploys to boost Sayek, who's the only guy who I can boost damage-wise.
Yeah.
You're probably going to survive the first attack, and then you can bring somebody else in to assist.
Yeah, but you've still got. It isn't that easy because they're not that close. These aren't that close together.
Yes.
Necessarily. So it's interesting, but I think a definite strategy for Stormcast does seem to be tightly pack your objectives and tightly pack your people.
Yeah.
I think.
Because I think
you want narrow frontage. I think
in a game with Stormcast, I think you probably want to go nearer the back, and if you can have objective points that are next to each other, you want to use those to have your guys near each other.
Yeah.
And
I think you do a little bit with this board. I was a little bit stuck because if I put that there, then I'd have to put the other one right over here.
But you couldn't put it there because you can't
No,
put it on the edge.
so I could put it there, and then I can't put until the end. I can't put one.
Yeah.
In fact, I wasn't going last because you went first, so I couldn't.
Yes.
So I had to put them up further up.
Well, you could have put it there, I guess, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky.
I think I chose to put it there because it was between the two, so I could put 2 people there, and I had 2 people there, so it was.
Yeah, it's a bit unfair, and then you didn't get the 4th objective anyway.
No, that's right. And I had that objective. Yeah, and then I didn't get it because you anyway. We don't want to be talking about that now.
Yeah,
because that's a spoiler.
So there you go, guys. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more idea of the other cards that you'll have available in your box when you get it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go away and try and work out what the heck we're doing with this game. So hopefully we'll have another video up soon, the 3rd and final part of our first best of 3.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoy, guys.
Okay.
Bye.
More TV's come back on.